Good morning, everyone. Okay, so this video is going to talk to you a little bit about what you will need for your set design for your monologue project. All right, set design involves two different drawings. You're going to have a drawing called a ground plan, which is an above view drawing of the set of the stage that shows the placement of the furniture, the relationship of things, and the proportions of those different pieces of furniture. And then you're also going to have a color rendering, which is a from the front view, like what the audience would see of the set. All right? All right, guys, so the first drawing I'm going to show you is the ground plan. And like I said before, a ground plan is an above view drawing. So if you have ever, I don't know why that has two L's, I'm being slow. So if you have ever looked at like a floor plan for a house, if you were like looking to move, or in a real estate book, sometimes they'll have them. In architecture books, they definitely have them. Sorry, necessary sip of coffee. Okay, it's basically the same idea. It just shows the placement of furniture. And when you go to create a ground plan, or you go to create any kind of set design, again, we're going to keep it pretty simple. This is just for a monologue performance, so it does not have to be anything big or crazy or fancy. If you have elaborate ideas and you want to just go to town on this, go for it. But for the rest of us who are kind of like, okay, I just kind of need to think of something creative and get this done and knock it out, then keep it simple, all right? So for my monologue, it is actually in a scene where Romeo and Juliet are supposed to be in a garden. Why did I pick this one? This is difficult. Oh, whatever. Anyway, it's a scene in the garden. She's up on a balcony. He's down on the ground. Already we have levels problems. Yay! So yeah, I get to figure out levels. Now, when you're doing this design, again, we are not going to get to build this, unfortunately. So again, feel free to, you have everything at your beck and call. Resources are not an issue, so have fun. All right, so I am going to, I want their balcony to be rounded. I feel like with this play, there's so much beauty, and I don't know, it just seems like everything's round in this play. It's not squarish, it's not straight, it's round. So I'm gonna have a rounded balcony. Again, I'm drawing this as though I'm like floating above the stage looking down on top of it. So when I'm drawing it, I'm not drawing it like I'm looking at it from the front. So I gotta think about what would it look like on the top. So it's gonna look like a semicircle platform, because it's gonna be backed up against some flats back here. Those flats are gonna look like, I don't know, a piece of bread from the top, a piece of paper from the top, right? They're not going to be very wide. So I'm going to draw those flats coming out this way. And again, I'm not even thinking about the rest of the play. Usually when I'm designing a set, I got to think about the whole play. I've got to think about how is this going to work for the rest of the scenes? Is it flexible? Can it be moved? Can it be, rearranged? Whatever. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just thinking about this one scene because that's all I'm doing right now. So there's some flats coming off of it there. Here are some flats coming this way. We're just going to keep that wall straight for a hot second, and then I think I'll curve it there and have it come forward again. That makes an interesting space. So there's a lot of things going into this. There's practicality first and foremost, right? What do we, she needs a banister. I'm going to add a banister real quick. So first and foremost, what is actually needed in this space to make it work for the scene, right? To make it actually appropriate for what happens in the scene and make it work for that. And then practical, right? And the next thing, functionality. All right, I got to think about audience perspective. Can they see everything that's going on? How can we make things more visible? And then finally, artistic, right? I want it to be beautiful. I want to, wherever I can, use that set to help create the mood and help support the story and help support what's going on in that scene. In this case, the pronouncement of love, right, by the two. So another argument for having it to be rounded, right, because that rounding adds an element of beauty. It adds an element of like, I don't know, sweetness, suggests love. If you had to pick between a square and a circle for love, I would definitely go with the circle, right? So so there you go. All right, so we got this lovely balcony. It's in a garden, so I definitely want to add some trees. Again, think you're looking at them from above, so I'm just going to make these fun little funky shapes right here, which is kind of what the trees would look like, I think, if they were above, if we're looking at them down on them from above. I want to try to keep things balanced. It's part of our design principles, right? I want to try to keep things balanced, but I also don't want it to be perfectly symmetrical necessarily, because their love isn't perfectly symmetrical, right? They die at the end. This is a tragedy, so I don't want it to be, yeah. So I think over here I'll have the trees, the 3 trees, and then 1 tree, and I think I'm gonna put in, ooh, a wishing well. That's cute, right? Now a wishing well, what is that gonna look like from above? I think I'm just gonna do like the peak of the roof, and then the 2 sides of the roof coming down, because I'm not sure really how else to draw it from above. So there we go. So there's my little wishing well. I'll do a better job with that later when we do the color rendering. But that's my basic set. I have a balcony, I have trees, because it's a garden, I have a tree here, and I have a wishing well. And maybe I'm gonna have some vines and stuff, but I'll be able to show those better in the color rendering than I will in this format. So that's really all you need. The only other thing you might consider doing is labeling each piece. And yes, please, please, please do this, because I want to know all of the cool creative ideas you have. And I really can't know that unless you label it, especially with the ground plan, because, you know, it's hard to tell. Okay, so wishing well, there we go. So now I have my ground plan. I have a from above view of where all the things are. It shows the spatial relationship between them. I can see how there's space between these trees. Now when I do my color rendering, notice these trees are lined up almost perfectly in front and behind each other. That was a mistake. I need to move this guy over probably. And of course I did this in pen, so it's not like I'm erasing. Suggestion, do yours in pencil. But I'm gonna need to move that tree over, because this one is not going to be visible from the audience perspective, looking out from here that way toward the stage, right? Oh, yay. But that's the idea. Okay, for this next video, we're gonna talk about the color rendering. And a color rendering, I mean color, obviously, it's going to be in color, right? So I am probably not going to color mine in completely. Rendering, yes, I did spell it correctly. But I'm gonna give you, because I'm just trying to give you like a basic idea of what you're doing, okay? So I'm probably not gonna color mine in all the way. You should color yours in all the way. You should spend careful time thinking about what colors are going to help portray the ideas of your story the best, all right? Color rendering is a from the front view. So this is what the audience actually sees. So my first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw my stage line. All right, and this is the line that I'm using as like, okay, that's the bottom line, that's the floor level where everything is going to be sitting. So I'm just gonna draw a line across my stage space, or my space, and that's gonna give me my stage floor, okay, from the front view. So it just looks like a little lip, because that's what the stage looks like from the front, right? And it goes back, but whatever. All right, and then I'm gonna start drawing my balconies a little bit further up on the stage, like it's probably about mid-stage or whatever based on the ground plan. So there'll probably be some floor back here, but I'm not very good at perspective drawing, so I'm just gonna take it straight up. So the balcony is probably about here-ish, and it's gonna come up. And I don't want it too tall, because again, you know, Romeo, I don't know how tall my Romeo gonna be, so we're gonna say that's like 4 feet max. 3 feet is actually a pretty good platform height. It is tall and you need stairs to get up there, but it is not terrifyingly tall. 4 feet starts to get a little scary. That's when it starts to feel like, oh my God, I'm really high. All right, it is a balcony, it's rounded, so I'm gonna kind of scoop that out to try to demonstrate that roundness. A little bit of a semicircle there, right? And then bring it back down on this side. It has a railing, so I'm gonna draw in that railing now. Oh, now I wish I'd done like stone turrets. That would have been much cooler, but oh well. I'm gonna follow the same line as the floor of my balcony, because that's what a straight railing would do. And hopefully this railing is straight, because we do not need anybody falling off or having any problems. Safety first. All right, and then I'm gonna add these lovely little, oh my gosh, I don't even know what they're called right now. This struts, is it a strut? And whatever, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. These are like the little arms of the railing that keep the kids from sticking their heads through and falling off. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Okay. Oh, and they take forever to draw. It's okay, just bear with me. And they're different sizes, that's great. Okay, so as you can see, nobody's perfect, it's fine. Again, I highly recommend you do yours in pencil. I don't know why I'm using pen right now, but all right, so there is my balcony. I do want this to be stone, and I really love the idea of having it be like rough natural stone. So then I'm gonna go through and add in all these kind of rough, different shapes of these rough natural stones. And when we're actually creating this set, of course, these would be painted on, right? Unless you wanted to go ahead and get 3D and actually get some natural stones and add them, and that'd be so cool. But we're not going to get that. Okay, so I'm not going to finish that because that's going to take forever, and I want to get to the rest of it so you can see what I'm talking about. But that's from the front, right? We can see the balcony. It's a little bit skewed. I'm not really sure how to fix that. I'm sure my artist types in class are kind of groaning and looking at me right now going like, really, miss? Really? That's okay. You can fix yours and make it prettier. I'm just doing the best I can. So if this guy's about 4 foot high, 3 foot high, my flats are generally 8 feet high, so they need to be about double the height of this balcony. And this one is actually going to be coming out at an angle. I forgot, dang it. So this is where it gets really fun because you have to try to start demonstrating like those angles and everything. So this is angled back and away. It's going to go up slightly. Yep. And then come down there at the corner of the balcony, and then there is presumably another flat behind the balcony, which is going straight across. Probably room for 2 flats back there, so I'm going to take that one down, and then here and down. So I got my 2 flats back there, and then whatever is painted on these walls, like maybe this continues that stone theme from down here, or maybe this probably should have a doorway painted on it, or maybe there's an actual doorway, which would be really, really nice that Juliet can emerge from and go back into. You know, it'd be really pretty is if that were an arched doorway. I don't know what I was thinking. We're gonna change that real quick. This lovely arched doorway. Oh, continuing the circles. I love it, the curvature. Okay, cool. So I got a doorway there. This one's going to be angled back that direction. Is it? Yes, it is. So then it's gonna go slightly up that way to create that angle and then come down. These flats look, they're not wide enough, but that's okay. All right, it comes down to meet my stage floor. Then same thing over here, I'm gonna draw a flat coming straight across because I came straight out from that edge. And then one that comes slightly forward, so it's gonna angle down. I think that's right, right? That's off the edge of the screen, but that's okay, but you get the idea. Or it's where I can't reach it. That's the problem with it. Okay, so then I've got my flats across. I need to draw my wishing well, which I'm gonna put right here. And this is again a from the front view. So it's gonna look a little bit different than it did in my ground plan because I'm not looking at the top of it, I'm looking at the front side of it. It's a pretty little wishing well. With a little spire, okay. And again, we're gonna keep that round. Oh, I don't know why I did a square roof. I should have done a rounded roof. That's okay. I'm gonna keep that rounded theme going though with the base of it, which is going to be roundish. Ish. And then we'll probably do those same natural stones on it. That's gonna be pretty. And add to that kind of earthy element of everything else that's going on in this drawing. Again, I'm not gonna finish all the stones because of time, but you get the idea. And then I'm gonna add my trees here, right? This other tree, if I go back to my ground plan, that tree was just out to the stage left of the wishing well. So I'm gonna add it stage left of the wishing well here. My height on it is terrible. It should definitely be taller, but whatevs. And then over here, that tree that I drew, remember, it was directly behind the other. So I've got this one sticking out, and then I've got another one that's right in front of it. So we'll make that one a little shorter. How about that? So here's my other tree. They look like truffula trees. Well, it's the best I can do right now. I'm going very quickly. Please take a bit more time than I am and actually kind of, you know, I know, oh, miss, I don't draw. That's okay. I get it, you know. But make an effort. You know, put some effort in. Make a try. All right, so my 2 trees, my 3 trees over here, my 1 tree and my wishing well over here, my balcony, I would fill in the detail with the rest of these stones. I would fill in the detail with the rest of these stones. I would add color. I would think carefully about what colors would portray the mood that I'm dealing with. And then I might add a few more details, like maybe I want to add some vines. It'd be really cool if we had an actual functioning vine that Romeo could grab a hold of and pull himself up on at one point. That'd be super fancy. But maybe we'll get into that later. It would be a rope, not an actual vine. So maybe I'm going to add some vines here with some leaves, and I would color those in. All right, that's the idea. So your color rendering is a from the front view, what the audience would actually see, and it is in color. I have a couple crayons over here, and none of them are the type of colors that I would actually use for this. That's great. Maybe we can use this light orange for the window. There we go. So here's her little entryway, and it's all like lit up yellowish because it's got light behind it. So maybe she comes out from there and there's light coming through behind her. Okay, and that's the idea. I don't have any other colors with me right now that would work, but so this one is going to be in color from the front view, what the audience sees. That's your color rendering. Your ground plan is from above, demonstrating the spatial relationships and showing where everything is on stage. Cool. And that is your set design.